Alright, since the Man of Steel trailer came out a week or two ago, I figured why not? Figured I'd review Superman Earth 1. As you can see on the cover right there, written by J. Michael Straczynski and artwork by Shane Davis. This is an amazing graphic novel. It was the kickoff of the Earth 1 series. Well, I guess you could say Earth 1 counting this, the new Batman Earth 1 book, which I'm actually considering getting because I've heard nothing but really good things about it. I was kind of on the fence about it because Jeff Johns has a very interesting way of writing Batman. From what I've seen, he writes him like a total asshole 24/7, but on the other hand, I might, if I have the money, I'll go out, buy it, check it out, and yeah, and of course we're gonna get the sequel eventually of Superman Earth 1 Volume 2. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I'm getting off on a rant. So the book, the Superman Earth 1. I love this book. I love the look of it. First off, I love how they did the cover. No dust jacket, no, just a regular novel. It's just a regular hardback book that you could put on your shelf and look at with pride. But this really had a major like some major things going against it before, because everyone was like, oh man, they're rebooting Superman's origin again and they're doing the Ultimate Superman. So there was a lot of things going against, but when I read this book, I loved it. I'm always a fan of alternate universe stories, and Superman Earth 1 really did its job. First thing, Shane Davis's artwork, or Sean Davis, however you want to say it. His artwork in here is beautiful. Just freaking beautiful. I love how he draws all the characters. It's a real piece of art with this book. It is an amazing, just beautiful artwork. I love how he just draws everyone's facial expressions. It just looks like he really took his time with this book, among other things. Now, remember when if you guys have seen my my trailer thoughts on the Man of Steel trailer, and how I said that this how it pretty much had Superman looked like it was going to be based off of Superman Earth 1. This is where the idea comes from, because in here, Superman is pretty much doesn't know what to do with his life. Clark doesn't know what to do with his life. It's not like it tells you it starts from Superman's birth to when he gets older. This is in the middle of him in his early 20s, going to Metropolis for the first time, and just trying to figure out his way in life. It does cover the Superman origin, and does it in a way that I think not a lot of people really thought of. I say this because it does cover the origin of of course, Kal-El's ship crash landing to Earth, and Martha and Jonathan Kent find baby Kal-El, who they assume was just an infant child they found just lost in the crash. They didn't think that it was a alien spacecraft. They took the child, took him in, and then about 5 minutes later, in comes the military, which is something you'd kind of expect. Of course, when something that big crash lands, of course the military's going to get into it. But that's pretty much it. It covers that, and it basically does follow a lot of Superman just going... why do I keep saying Superman? Clark going out, trying to find his way in life, and initially he doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want to have... He feels like if he reveals himself to the world, they'll hate him, they'll think he's a monster, and they'll hunt him down and kill him. So he's afraid of that, but he still wants to do good in the world. And in this book series, it does follow a bit of the Richard Donner movies, of basically Jonathan Kent is dead. He died earlier in Clark's life, and there's just this really touching scene of Clark going to his father's grave and just telling him, I know this is something you wanted me to do, put on the cape and, you know, go out and protect the world, but this is something, but you also said, let me be happy, and being in that costume won't make me happy. I can still be a hero to this world, but I don't need to be a superhero. And that's the other thing. This book, I mean, this story perfectly explains how how Clark could have been if he never became Superman. You know, he has so much he can do with his life. He could have been an all-star football player. He could have been an amazing scientist, the way he has that super intelligence. He could have done anything in his life. And he chose to be working at the Daily Planet, which is currently going broke. It's going broke because Perry White refuses to convert to, you know, the current technology and all that. So later on in the book, we are introduced to the villain of this story called Tyrell, and yes, I know he's a newly introduced villain in this new universe. Tyrell is basically from a race of aliens that... This is what's interesting. This is where the book gets a little more interesting. Tyrell's species and the Kryptonians were at war, had limited resources, and their planets would always be at war for those resources. And along came this unknown being who helped Tyrell's species, saying, "I can help you wipe out the Kryptonians. As long as you do this for me, you can have all the resources you want." And it was succeeded. These people were responsible for... Basically, Tyrell was responsible for destroying the planet. But someone helped him. We don't know who it is. It could be anybody. They kind of allude to it might be Brainiac, but I'm not sure. So, we'll just have to wait for that. And it does have a very epic fight scene between Tyrell and Superman. Like, these two, when they first punch, they do one big punch, and it's kind of like an anime-style fight, where the two fists come together, and this huge shockwave happens, and all this glass is breaking. It's kind of like a very anime-esque feel to it. Another cool scene in here that I liked is, I loved what they did with Jimmy Olsen in here, making him this very brave, always wants to get the story. And he's facing off with one of Tyrell's robot drones, and he pretty much says, you know, "I'm not gonna run, you know, as long as I get the story and I can still show the world what you are." I thought that was just so cool. And Lois in here, Lois is kind of a bitch, but you kind of understand her reasons for it. Hopefully they'll stretch out her character a bit more. They didn't do a lot with her, other than be more like Jimmy's sidekick, more than the other way around. But I did like that scene where her and Jimmy did actually use a truck to rescue Superman, and I don't want to spoil more than that of how they do it. And the other thing is, the world, rather than, "Oh yeah, Superman, we're all for him," everyone is actually, they're for him or against him. It's a very mixed thing, because they don't know what to think of him. Most people blame him for the aliens coming down and trying to destroy the world. So, it's a very interesting thing, and they do have a lot of interesting stuff they do with the military. It's just an all-around awesome book. I cannot say more. I cannot, stress that enough. This is an excellent retelling of Superman's origin, which has been retold multiple times. I think the best retelling... This is up there in terms of... in just my opinion, and because this is not a canon DC universe, so Superman Earth 1 can go in its own universe, but I still think Mark Waid's Superman Birthright was probably the best retelling of an origin. Not saying Superman Secret Origins was bad, I'm just saying that's my Mark Waid's Superman Birthright story is my personal favorite Superman origin retelling. So, among other things, what more can I say about this book? It's just awesome. If you haven't got it yet, it's about $20. Yeah, I know it's a little expensive, but this is totally worth it. It does leave you guessing on who the villain is. I'm still thinking that might be Brainiac, who knows, but the new villain in here is enough, and it does feel like if this is what, like I said in my Superman Man of Steel trailer thoughts, if this is what what they're loosely basing off of the new Superman movie, I am totally all for it. I am 100% behind them kind of basing it off the Superman Earth 1 story. And it does look like that. It's just basically Clark not knowing what to do with his life, and then when destiny calls, whether he likes it or not, he's got to step up to the plate. So, yeah, like I said, go out, get this book if you haven't already. If you're in a Superman mood, or after watching the Superman, the Man of Steel trailer, and you want to read something Superman, and even though you're not really that much of a Superman fan, I'd say get this. It's good for new readers and old classic fans. I mean, hell, Richard Donner liked this. It says there's all these reviews on the back of the book, and we've got like David Goyer, Richard Donner, who directed the first two Superman movies, Max Brooks, who did World War Z and the Zombie Survival Guide. Everyone's just praised the hell out of this book, and I can see why. It's just a wonderful book. But yeah, I think I've said enough. So you guys tell me what do you thought of this if you've read it, and hopefully I can inspire someone to get this book. It's really good. Anyway, I'm out.